All right, guys, we're going to get started. Thank you so much for joining today. I am really excited about this group. Just so you guys know, this is the first time that I'm hosting this group, the First Conversations coaching group. So this is very much an experiment, but the goal of this is really to deliver value for you guys. So I'm glad you're here so you guys can give me feedback afterwards. And we're going to jump in. The goal is to keep this to 30 minutes today, but again, it's the first one, so we'll see how that goes. For those of you who aren't familiar with this format, I can't see you. Your camera's not on. Currently, everybody's muted, but at the end, I'm going to unmute everybody. So if you have questions or you want to chat at the end, we can do that, or you can use the chat function if you have questions as we go throughout, and I'll try to keep my eyes if there's any alerts that come up. So just to kind of get things rolling here, I want to give you guys an idea of what we're going to go over in this session. So I'm going to want to kind of give you an overview of what this is supposed to be about, what we're trying to accomplish here with this group, and then share some ideas on breaking the ice. This is, I think, the initial hurdle when you sign up with First. So we'll go over some solutions for that. And then I've put together some event and outreach ideas for August. So the goal will be to, pique your interest or maybe give you some inspiration on things that you can do in the coming month to have more conversations. And then I'm actually going to challenge you guys to use some of the suggestions or the recommendations we go over. And while we're in this meeting, go ahead and take action, take out the app, and find a couple people that you can connect with. So how this group works. So my name is Dana Allen. For those of you guys who don't know me, I am a First veteran. I've been here for about 3 years now, and I've seen a lot of different iterations of the product. And mostly my job has been all about coaching our agents, working with our existing customers, helping them get to success with the platform. And now I get to work with our brokerage partners, go out and introduce the product to their team and host trainings. So this coaching group is really an offshoot of a lot of those conversations where I found that the most challenging thing, the thing that was keeping agents from having success with First, was they weren't having the conversations. And so I've had done a lot of work with kind of digging into what gets in the way there and trying to remove those hurdles. So that's what this is all about. This group, moving forward, we're going to meet once a month, so it's a low commitment. It is going to be an invitation only group. So what that means, if you're here, means you're an active agent with First, that you've been consistent about logging in and doing activities on the app, like reviewing your starred contacts, setting next steps, completing them, and doing actual outreach. So good work for you. That's the hard part, right? Being successful with First, it's simple, right? We're showing you who's likely to sell, and those are the people to have conversations with. But I'm under no illusion that it's easy. I know that there's a million things that can get in the way, including just sometimes your own insecurities, right? But sometimes some inspiration ideas will help. But our goal is that using these ideas, you're going to have more conversations, have more, offline in real life connections with people. Ideally, people who are likely to sell, but hey, we'll talk a lot about how to get into your neighborhood and how to expand your circle and things like that. To be really clear, I'm never going to share, scripts and, specific things, really specific things that you can, say or send. We work with a lot of brokerages, so never want to give out, the exact same thing to a whole group of people. Because that's awkward. And also because we know that personalization is really key to actually making that connection, right? So sometimes we'll give ideas, but it's always about you kind of taking it and making it your own. And then after this, I'm going to send you guys all a survey. I really want to get your feedback. I want to make sure this is valuable for you, and I'm totally open to your suggestions. So if you fill that out, I'd really appreciate it. Again, this is to add value for you. So I want to know what I can do better and what you guys like. So let's jump in here. Breaking the ice, all right? So when you first set up your First account, if you sync your phone, if you sync your email, maybe even if you did an export from your CRM, you probably saw a lot of people in your database that you hadn't thought of for a really long time, or maybe that you didn't even recognize, that weren't even familiar to you. That can be a little overwhelming at first. So I think that this is a place where it's easy to get stuck, right? You just look down this list and you feel overwhelmed by the number of people you're out of touch with or that you haven't spoken to recently. And just take a deep breath and know that that's why you are here, right? That's why you purchased the software, because you want to infiltrate your network a little bit more. So it's okay to be at a starting place where there's a little bit of work to do, right? Hopefully we've taken you quite a few steps further by helping you deduplicate, take out some of the agents, but there's going to be some people in there that you're going to want to filter out, right? So briefly, before I get into the outreach events and ideas for the people you do know and that you can talk to, I wanted to just give a few pointers on dealing with some of those folks that, kind of pull up a question mark in your head. I've also kind of put this blog spotlight. I'm going to send you guys all these slides afterwards, as well as this recording. So that's a hyperlink to a section on our blog where we have, it's the product section on the blog, but we have these things called Thursday tips that I worked with another girl who works here, and we wrote these out. They're essentially addressing the most common questions that we hear. So things like, I have no idea who this person is. We kind of walk you through how to see in the app where they came from, and what to do from there to kind of get some context clues on, how you might reconnect. If you have no idea what to say, like there's one that says what to say when you have no idea what to say, and it's about breaking the ice. That is a place where I give a script, but it's a script for you to personalize. But essentially, taking the humble position of, mud on my face. I can't believe how long it's been since I reached out. I'm sorry that we've fallen out of touch. I'd love to reconnect and hear how you're doing. Some version, some variation of that is pretty much always really warmly embraced by people. As long as you approach it with a sincere heart, with a sincere intention to actually build that relationship, right? You're not going to just make that one call or one text, and then if they don't ask you to list their house right away, they'll never hear from you. That would make it awkward. But if you're approaching this with sincere intention to build relationships with these people, don't let that first conversation hold you back. Be humble, take responsibility for dropping the ball, even if, obviously this is a two-way street, and you're demonstrating to that person that you are going to be the proactive person in this relationship, and people really appreciate that in friends as well as I think in real estate agents. So let's start with if you're not sure who they are. So don't immediately unfollow or take people out of the app just because you don't recognize them. You can scroll to the bottom of their profiles, look at their import source, and then you can go search for them in that import source. If it's your email, you might be able to find the thread. You can follow up and reconnect from there, right? So just figure out how you know them. Remember, these are all your contacts. So there's nobody in here who didn't at some point voluntarily, give you their contact information. So if I call it 60 seconds of sleuthing, if after 60 seconds you still have no idea who this person is, just take them out, right? Just unfollow them, go to the bottom of the profile and take them out. If you're not sure what to say, so this would be, who this person is, right? But it's maybe been a little while and you guys have kind of fallen out of touch. Or maybe it's somebody you haven't really developed a personal relationship with before, and you kind of just get that analysis paralysis. The first thing that I want to say is remember your value. So with a lot of the agents I've sat with, I end up really getting the sense that as soon as, especially maybe because you're like using this program who's telling you who's likely to sell, you maybe start feeling a little bit weird, like you have these ulterior motives in your outreach, and that kind of blocks you up. It kind of blocks your magic. But just remember what you do. Remember who you are and what you know, and remember that a lot of people don't have the level of knowledge that you have about what's going on in your community, about what's happening with the real estate market. And these are important things, right? Our home is our biggest investment. So you're an expert on a subject that's really important to most people, that they don't know a whole lot about, that they aren't really thinking about on a regular basis. So just remember that you can add value. You do know things that other people don't know. And I'm gonna share some more ideas on how you can add value and do things that are fun, right? But just get out of your own way in terms of feeling like you're being salesy or whatever, right? We have to be comfortable with blurring that line with really truly believing that what's in your best interest, winning business from them, is also in their best interest, working with you, right? The other thing, I don't know if I have any ninjas in this group, but one of the distinctions that they make that I really love is when you are feeling stuck thinking about what to say when you call somebody, don't think about what to say, think about what to ask. We have another Thursday tip on this topic, so I encourage you to check that out. And the last thing is if you really don't want to talk to them, right? I think that if there's anybody in there who like makes your stomach turn, or you're just like, don't want to talk to this person, definitely unfollow them. But if there's people in there who maybe are out of state, or they have a close relationship with another agent who you know, just make them a low priority contact. When you go into their profile, you'll see there's a couple of like little tags you can just automatically add. Just make them low priority, right? Only take people out if you just really never want to see them in here again, you never want to talk to them, or they kind of make you feel bad. So like, get past all that initial stuff so we can get to the people you do want to talk to, right? Or maybe don't feel like you have to do all this up front. Just do it as you go. I always say, like, if you're going into your starred contact list and reviewing those contacts, don't go in there and like just look at 5 people you don't know and try to figure out how you know them, right? Look for 5 people you do know. And in the meantime, if you're seeing people you don't, you can, take care of that. But always be on the be intentional about going into first to do outreach, not organization, right? So make a little bit of effort with people you don't know. The goal here is to help you win deals from people you wouldn't have otherwise won them from, right? So sometimes you got to go a little bit out of your comfort zone to warm up a relationship. Maybe use social media first to have a couple touch points there if you're not ready to call and reach out immediately. So, all right, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the fun stuff and what to do with people who you do know. So I've got 3 slides here where what I want to do with this group is kind of look into the coming month and share some fresh ideas with you guys. So I spent a little time brainstorming with some people on my team here, also with a couple of the agents I work closely with on to share some ideas and ways that you can either, just make a phone call and reach out, or maybe have an event. I know that a lot of agents I talk to want to have events, but it just feels really overwhelming, right? Like, you've got a lot going on as it is. Maybe you don't have an assistant. Probably you don't have an assistant. And the idea of having this big party can be really overwhelming and kind of expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We can do small events, local events with, focus groups of people, or even with one-on-ones that have a huge impact. People love it when you put in the effort to organize an event like this and invite them, think of them. It also gives you a really good opportunity to touch base, follow up with people, or even get their updated contact information, or break into your neighborhood. So starting with August being the hottest month of the year, right? I live in North Carolina, and it has been very steamy here. August is known for being like our very hot month. I kind of love it, but I know a lot of people don't. But here's some ways that you can kind of beat the heat and just get connected with people in your network. So invite some past clients today at the water park, right? If they've got kids that are around the same age as your kids, or even adults like the water park too, okay? We have, my parents live near Carowinds, which has all these crazy slides and stuff. You could bring kids there, but you could also bring some other adults. Water parks are ridiculously fun, and you kind of forget about that until you're at one. If you don't have a water park near you, you could also think about hosting a little event at your neighborhood pool, right? Have an ice cream social, hire an ice cream truck to come and do, free ice cream. You can invite your past clients or invite the people in your neighborhood. Right? This is a really good way to sort of introduce yourself and let people know a little bit who you are. You're doing a giveaway, right? You're doing something for free. People always respond pretty kindly to that. Another giveaway event, set up a lemonade stand, right? Maybe you don't have a pool in your neighborhood or one that you have access to. Put up a little lemonade stand in your neighborhood. Spend $20 and get some branded cups, right, that have your information on them, and give out the lemonade for free. Don't charge people for it, but just give it out for free in these cups. It's a cute idea. People will love that. And it also, again, allows you to put out a little bit of branding, a little bit of information about who you are. And people will usually stop for a lemonade stand, especially if there's a kid behind it. So don't feel like you have to spend your Saturday or your Sunday, sweltering out, doing the lemonade stand in your neighborhood. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. It's great if it is you, right? Because people who stop by, you can introduce yourself. They can actually meet you. But people also love adorable kids. So, you can pay some kid, $20, $50 to go stand out there for you, and they'll be super psyched. But if possible, be out there too. Spend some time, shake some hands, and meet some people. Another idea was to, partner with an HVAC company. At the point of this year, a lot of people's air conditionings are pretty taxed. This is also a great idea at the beginning of summer. People find out their air conditioning isn't working on the first really hot day, right? But you could partner with an HVAC to offer a tune-up special. It's a great way to partner with another local business and get some more exposure out there. Plus, just as context, my parents bought their house 2.5 years ago. They wanted to have some work done on the air conditioner this summer, and they had no idea where to start or who to reach out to. And I was like, no, your realtor should really be here for you in this moment. So again, trusted partners, people who are really good at what they do, and your clients maybe don't. Maybe they're just going on Yelp or Angie's List, whatever. Those are great resources, but they would, often really appreciate to hear a recommendation from you, especially if you've, worked out some opportunity for a discount. So that's my idea for August being really, really hot. All right, what else is happening in August? Kids are going back to school. So some ideas here that you can use, you can kind of leverage this to do some outreach. So look at your list of starred contacts. You know anybody on there whose kids might be going to college this year? That's always a really big deal. That's a great thing to ask people about. Where are they going? What did they decide? How are they feeling? Anybody whose kids are starting kindergarten, that's like another really big one for people, or even high school. Ask people about their kids going to school, right? Look at your list. That's a great reason to reach out. Kind of shows that you remember what's going on in their lives. Maybe you know some information about the schools around. School, great reason to reach out. Know any teachers looking through your starred list, right? All the teachers are about to be back at school Monday through Friday. They're not going to be able to go and get lunch. So if you know any teachers on your list, this is a great opportunity to invite them to lunch, right? Take them out to lunch. Do something nice for a teacher. We should all love our teachers more, right? We should show them our appreciation. So it's a great opportunity to just call somebody up and do a random act of kindness, right? Like, I want to take you out for lunch before you go back to school. Hosting a school supply donation drive event. I think this is an awesome idea, right? You can make it a little party if you want. People, they have to bring a certain amount of school supplies, and then they can come to your event and you've got a food truck and a bounce castle, right? So you can make it something simple. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be really expensive, but this is a great way that you can also kind of give back to your school and provide for, people who are less fortunate within your existing community, and also, kind of gather some people around for like a fun occasion, for a fun event. And, you can put your brand on it, put your name on it. So it's also a really good way to get connected with more of the parents in the school. If you can go to the event, shake some hands, etc. And then another reason to reach out, ask people about their summer vacation plans. When you're on social media, go on social, you can go into the app, look at your starred contacts. If their email that you have for them matches up to their social media profile, you'll be able to go into their social media profile right from their first profile. So you're not getting, lost in the black hole of your newsfeed. But you're using social media in a targeted way, right? Go on their profile, see if they post any pictures from their vacation this summer. Maybe start with commenting on them, then follow up with the text. Hey, I'd love to hear about your trip. It looked amazing. Do you have time to get together for coffee? Or give them a call, whatever it might be. But following up on, I had some great vacations this summer. I have another one coming up. And it's a fun thing to talk about it. People come alive. And again, remember, it's about what you ask, not about what you say. Just keep asking questions, and generally people will offer up information that's relevant, and will give you an opportunity to set a next step, right? That's the goal of all these conversations. Whatever they say during that conversation, you're going to use that, and remember to set yourself a next step to follow up and ask them about what's going on, how that's progressing, right? Don't get off the call until you know what you're going to say the next time you reach out. All right, so my last one, this is sort of like a future forecast looking ahead. Labor Day is coming up in September. So you have more than a month now to put together a little plan for Labor Day. And I know it can be great to take a vacation for ourselves sometimes on these holidays. If you've got something planned like that, by all means, I'm sure you deserve it. But you can also leverage this holiday as an opportunity to do some outreach or get people in your community connected. So maybe you want to host a barbecue, right? Or host a little potluck party. You don't have to make these events huge. I love the idea of like bringing together people who who don't know each other, who you think might like each other. Have 3 couples over and have a barbecue for them. Or if you want to have a big party, make it a potluck. Make it a block party so you can invite everybody in your neighborhood and make it fun, right? And those kind of events are awesome. At this point in the year, not a lot of people have plans for Labor Day, and they're kind of hoping that somebody else is going to have a plan for Labor Day and invite them. I think I have a question. Hold on. actually found smaller is better. Yes, Brandon, I'm completely with you on that. I find smaller is better even when I just do a training session or I'm talking to people about first, because the conversation just gets more real. People kind of will open up about what's going on in their lives, and generally they feel more comfortable going to an event. Like if you're going to a party where you don't know anybody, that can be a little overwhelming. But if you've been intentionally invited to a dinner where no one's going to know each other, but the point is for you to meet each other, that's a lot more comfortable, right? And then you just take on the responsibility of being a great host or hostess, and make sure that people feel comfortable and you keep the conversation flowing by asking great questions, right? So I love the idea of having an event yourself. Doesn't have to be big. It can be small and intimate. And sometimes, as Brendan said, that is actually better. Now, if you don't want to have a party or you're an introvert, maybe you're going away, I think a cool thing to do is to put together like a roundup of events that are going on around you, or cool things that people could do in your city, right? What are some parks that people could go to, or water parks, or maybe a hotel that's going to have like a little staycation discount, or encourage people to do a staycation. Like, one of the things you can do, like we have, Durham on the cheap, Charlotte on the cheap, Dallas on the cheap. I don't know if they have them for all major cities, not that Durham's a major city, but if you Google like your city on the cheap, you'll probably find some great things that pop up. You could Google your city Labor Day, right? This isn't brain science, but brain science, rocket science. But at the same time, I think that sometimes it's one of those things we just don't think to do, right? This is a low effort activity. You can send it out via email or send it out as a mailer, right? Maybe people will put it up on their fridge and you'll have a little bit of your branding, visible for them. So I think that showcasing the ways in which you're kind of a local expert and you're somebody who is kind of in touch with what's going around town, especially people who maybe moved in recently, people you've helped buy homes. This is a great way to help them kind of get connected and know what's going on in their community. Specifically, if there are people who you've helped buy homes in the last couple months, those might be great people to invite over for your Labor Day barbecue, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Again, all these ideas that I'm sharing with you guys are for you to personalize. They're just a jumping off point. But don't ever feel like you have to do something that doesn't feel natural to you or doesn't feel normal to you, right? You're always going to be at your best. You're always going to make your most meaningful connections when you feel comfortable, when you're in your zone, right? Your environment, your flow. So take these ideas and make them work for you. Or please let me know what else you're going to do this month. Part of what I want to do moving forward is like collect ideas from you guys and kind of share them out with the group. So, or if you have events this year or this month and they go well, I love to hear about them. I love to see pictures from them. I want to kind of celebrate y'all's wins with you. And of course, I'm going to recommend that you try to focus on your starred contacts when you're choosing people to reach out to and people to connect with, because we know that's where the majority of your listings are going to be, especially those 3-star contacts. But I'm also a huge believer in like not limiting yourself to that, right? So if there are people on there who you want to include, or there are people you want to include who aren't on your starred list, obviously go for it, right? More conversations, the better. It's not just about the starred list. We just know there's more listings there. So while I've got you guys all here and I've just sort of shared those ideas with you, I really want to just challenge you to open the app right now, go into your starred contacts list and find some people that you can reach out to. So send some texts, right? Ask people about their summer vacations. Ask them when when the kids are going back to school. Maybe you want to ask if you can get together with somebody after their kids go back to school, or if they're a teacher before they go back to school. Ask people if they have plans for Labor Day, or, how they're beating the heat this summer. Maybe invite somebody to do something this weekend if you have that water park. So I want to encourage you guys to send 3 texts. And then while you're looking through those starred contacts, if there's some people that you've been in conversation with, or you want to set a reminder to reach out, right? Maybe over the weekend or sometime next week, go ahead and set 3 next steps. And I wish I was sitting there with you when I do individual coaching sessions. This is what I do. And this changed the game when I started doing this, right? I used to just sit there and we'd be talking. And then I was like, all right, goodbye. When I coach people, I'm actually like, okay, great. Now let's do it. I usually make them do 5. But we're, remote, so I can't be there with you guys. But I'm going to chill here. I'm going to give it like 2 minutes. I'm going to give it 1 minute because I want to make sure that I have, actually from now till 12:30, so for the next 5 to 6 minutes, I'm going to leave this open for question and answer. But I really want you guys to be proactive and take action, right? Like literally none of this matters if you don't do anything about it. They're all just ideas until you take action on it. But just get out of your own way, send those first couple texts, and it's going to get in the flow. You'll have good reactions. You know, people are going to come back with positive things to say. They're going to appreciate that outreach, and that's going to encourage you and motivate you to do a little bit more. But you have to take that first step. So here's my charge, right? Try to send 3 texts, set 3 next steps. If you aren't doing it right now, do it today. Do it this week, right? These are the essential actions with first you have to do. So while we're hanging out here, while you guys are sending those texts, setting those next steps, I'm going to leave this up for you. When I send this out again, these are all hyperlinks, but just sort of highlighting some resources that are available for you guys. Again, this is only going to happen once a month. You're going to get all this content afterwards. I really want to hear your feedback. So please, I'll make the survey really short, but your feedback is so valuable to me. And I'm going to incorporate it and make this better, make it exactly what you guys want it to be. But in between then and now, some resources for you guys are Zendesk. Our FAQ is, we put so much time into like writing these articles for most of the questions that we get. So that's a good first spot, or first place to kind of put your questions in. Our blog, like I mentioned, when you scroll down on the blog, you'll see there's like a product section. Go to the product section and check out the Thursday tips. They're hilarious, if I don't say so myself. Got some memes in there, not overly memey, but just a little bit. But really, like those are, in 3 years, those are the top questions, the top challenges that I've seen agents have. And they're not that difficult to overcome. But you know, sometimes it just helps to have somebody else break it down, or somebody who's, you know, worked with a lot of different people, help them overcome the same issue. So Thursday tips on the blog under the product section, please check those out. The success team, always here to help you. Like I think we've got like our response time down to like 4 or 5 hours. So please don't hesitate to reach out to them. If you email them, and if you need one-on-one help, they'll set up time to chat with you, especially like if you're trying to get your contacts out of somewhere. They're really good at converting those, like converting contacts into CSVs. And then my email too, because I really want to hear from you guys. I want to hear about what's working for you, what's not working for you. And I want to hear like what you want to see more of, right? This is designed to be a value add for you guys. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Or if you have specific questions, like I do travel quite a bit for work, but I try to stay on top of my email. So I might have a little lag time, but I will get back to you if you email me. And I want to put a little quick product spotlight on here. Those of you guys who are on this call, it means you guys are all good, like you're good agents who are using First. Or not to say people who aren't on this call aren't good agents, but you know what I mean. So I wanted to make sure you guys saw this new addition to the product that we launched on Monday evening. So you guys, I'm so excited. This has been like 1 year in the making. We now have a new data provider that's bringing us real-time MLS data. So we're able to bring that into the app. Remember how we used to do once a week listing activity alerts? And sometimes they would be laggy. You know, we weren't loving the data source that we had for that information. It was not always reliable, especially in certain counties. But this new data source, we're looking at like a maximum 3 to 4 day lag on a listing that happens. Our goal here is not to rub your face in any listings that you miss, but it's to give you data and intel and information so that you can measure and manage that portion of your business, right? So if you haven't done so yet, on the home tab of the First Conversations mobile app, scroll to the bottom and you'll see where you can enter in your MLS number. What that'll do is it'll actually pull in 12 months of transaction history. And then moving forward, what we'll do is when a house is bought or sold within your MLS, that you have that address in your database, we'll make an alert for it. And if we had that contact starred at the time of the listing, we'll actually show you the star rating right alongside it too. So this is a huge deal in terms of changing the game around people who win most of their business from their network, but have no idea how much business they're missing in their network, right? I'm really excited about this. So also, if you have any questions about that, you can feel free to reach out to me as well. We have training sessions every week, just like general training sessions that are open to anybody. This is definitely a more advanced course in conversations, but I try to host those as often as possible. So if you feel like you need like a brush up on the actual product itself, or you just kind of want to go back to basics, you want to understand how we come up with seller stars and things like that, come to one of our Wednesday webinars. Those are a little bit longer. They tend to be about an hour, but if you register for one of them, remember you didn't have to register for this, you just came, because I'm going to send the recording to everybody who was invited. But with that one, anybody can come. If you register, you'll get the recording. So if you feel like you need that help, please feel free. So I'm not seeing any questions coming through, but I will hang out here for 5 more minutes. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll be here hanging out. Thank you also for your time. Really appreciate you making an investment in First, and I'm here to make a mutual investment in you guys. So thank you again.